the Eagles lost a ton of key pieces over the offseason. Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, to name a few of them. But I do think that they are in a position to replace those starters very effectively with some new breakout stars. So the first breakout star on my list kind of doesn't really count because he kind of already broke out last year, and that is Jalix Hunt. Hunt had a fantastic end of the season with a sack in the Super Bowl, and that's kind of why I'm saying that he is not really counting as a breakout star because he already broke out in the NFL as a rookie. Hunt is just an elite athlete, super strong, super quick, great at rushing the passer, and he's going to be taking the Josh Sweat role. Josh Sweat, obviously, 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl, the Eagles' premier edge rusher last season. Jalix Hunt will be taking that role along with Nolan Smith. That is going to be a lethal duo rushing the edge. He's going into his second year, and players tend to get better with already having a year under their belt in the NFL. Vic Fangio's coaching him, one of the best DCs in the NFL. And Jalix Hunt, he contributes in the run defense as well as rushing the passer. He seems like a very complete defensive end, rushing the passer, stopping the run, contributing all around. And I think Jalix Hunt will be a star for the Eagles. They spent a high round pick on him. He came out of a small college last year, and he just proved that he is a fantastic contributor for the Philadelphia Eagles defense. The second breakout player for the Eagles next season is Kelee Ringo, cornerback from Georgia, drafted a couple years ago. This is his third season, but he was drafted very young, so he is still only 22 years old. Kelee Ringo has never really been a position to start because the Eagles, in his tenure, have always had a very good cornerback group with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Darius Slay. Now Slay's gone, now Isaiah Rodgers is gone, now Avonte Maddox is gone, and as I talked about in my short video yesterday, Kelee Ringo is in position to be the third starting cornerback on the Eagles. He's going to start outside unless a change is made, and that's because Cooper DeJean's going back to the slot. And Kelee Ringo, he has very limited starting snaps. I think that he has the ability to be good, but I don't know if the Eagles want to be in a position where they are starting someone who has never started before on what is set up to be the best defense in the league. But in very limited time, Kelee Ringo has been good in coverage, and he's been mentored by Slay and Bradbury for 2 seasons. Bradbury didn't play at all last year, but there were reports that he was doing a great job at mentoring the players. Slay obviously did a fantastic job with Quinyon Mitchell. Kelee Ringo must have gotten some of that as well. And there are reports that Kelee Ringo has been fantastic in OTAs, which I am happy to hear. I do think that the Eagles should add another cornerback, but if they don't, Kelee Ringo is in a prime position to break out. My third breakout player is Sidney Brown. I think Sidney Brown sometimes gets a bad rap because he hasn't been able to stay on the field, and people don't really know how good he has been in limited time. He has been fantastic in coverage, not through too many snaps, but last season, playing a backup role, he was very good in coverage whenever he got the chance to go in. Better than Tristan McCollum, who was playing over him for a little bit. But now CJ Gardner-Johnson's gone, and Sidney Brown has the perfect opportunity to break out. He's a fantastic athlete. He hits really hard, hardest hitter on the Philadelphia Eagles. He's very young, 25 years old, which is not as young as somebody like Kelee Ringo, but still has the opportunity to break out. He's not so old. He's going into his third year, former 4th round pick, and we just saw his brother, twin brother actually, Chase Brown, break out for the Bengals, putting up great numbers in the last 9 or so weeks of the season. But Sidney Brown, fantastic athlete, good in coverage even though it was through a limited sample size, and now he has the starting opportunity. The Eagles did draft Andrew Makuba, who I really like, out of Texas, a rookie, and he and Sidney Brown will compete for snaps, but I think Sidney Brown, just based off of how he has 2 seasons under his belt, he's going into his 3rd season with the Eagles. He's been in Fangio's scheme for a year. I think he should win that starting job, and I think he will prove the doubters wrong. Sidney Brown, watch out. Number 2 on the breakout list, Moro Ojomo. There isn't enough that I can say about how good Moro Ojomo is at being a defensive tackle. He is absolutely elite at rushing the passer, and I don't mean just for a backup player. I mean, he is one of the 10 best pass rushing defensive tackles in the NFL. He's the real deal. His run defense, not as good as some of the other guys, defensive tackles on the Eagles, like Jordan Davis. Obviously, he thrives in run defense. But Moro Ojomo, absolutely phenomenal pass rusher. He fits the same archetype that Milton Williams fit, and I think he will be a perfect replacement for Milton Williams as that really, really great pass rushing defensive tackle, because Milton Williams, a better pass rushing defensive tackle than Moro Ojomo, but Milton Williams just got upper 20 million per year from the New England Patriots, and the Eagles obviously were not going to pay that. So Moro Ojomo, going into his third year, I think he is going to be phenomenal in the pass rush, and if he can improve as a run defender, he is set up to be a Pro Bowl defensive tackle starting for the Philadelphia Eagles. My number one breakout player for the Eagles this season is kind of a shocker. Kenyon Green, the new offensive guard for the Eagles that they traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson for. And look, Kenyon Green was absolutely horrendous last year for the Texans. Everybody who watched him or looked at his stats knows that he was bad. He allowed tons of sacks, he had plenty of penalties, he allowed pressures, and that's not good, but he wasn't working with Jeff Stoutland. I know Kenyon Green wasn't good, but he has plenty of potential. He was a former first-round pick who didn't thrive with the Texans, but the Texans had a terrible offensive line around him as well, which certainly didn't help. Now Kenyon Green is working alongside the best offensive line in the league. He's going to be playing right next to Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson. That is maybe the best situation somebody can be in. Mekhi Becton thrived in it last year, and Kenyon Green is in a very similar spot to Mekhi Becton. When Mekhi Becton came to the Eagles, he was a former first-round pick who had failed with his team, comes to the Eagles on a little prove-it deal, and thrives. He got tons of money from the Chargers this year on a multi-year deal after just one season with the Eagles. Kenyon Green is set up to do the exact same thing. If the Eagles didn't see something in Kenyon Green, they wouldn't have traded for him from the Texans. Jeff Stoutland clearly sees something in him. Former first-round pick, you know he has that potential. Kenyon Green is going to be the next Mekhi Becton, because Jeff Stoutland is a wizard with the offensive line, and the Eagles' offensive line will take virtually no step-backs in that position because Kenyon Green will develop into a player that is startable on an offensive line. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know which Eagles player you think will break out in the year 2025. But for now, my name is Jonah with the Phantom Sports Show, signing off.